Alright, here we are back again. Hello, hello, Happy New Year. And we're looking at this blog again, and the tag stuff we were doing before, with said, xargs, and others today. So, I have a list of what I have done and wanted to do. Get a list of all the tags, create a HTML document for every tag. This third one is pretty complicated, so it's going to be its own thing. Now, let's just go through this script real quick. Actually, let me show you what it does first. Well, you can kind of see what it does here in the comments, but I'll just run it and have a look at Ranger down here. So just run tags. And cool, that took a while to update, but we have this folder now, tags. Inside it, we've got all these HTML files: apples, code, dog walk, elm, esky, game dev. Pretty cool. And then an index file that just has a list of the other file names and their paths, which it's kind of like a half-baked idea at this point. I think this will come together a bit later. But as you can see, if I click this, it is going to load, but there's nothing here. The page is empty. It does, however, work. If I click tags, it's just going to give me a list of all of the tags. So, not useful right now, but hopefully if my idea pans out, it will be later. Okay, now let's get out of this, and let's go through this command. So the first line is very simple. It's just removing a directory, creating an index file. Easy. This one we already know from the previous video. Just find all the files in this directory and just give me the files, not the directories. Cool. And now this one is pretty simple. We just grep for anything with the tags. So if we say, let's just type this part out here, and then grep. Let's do it without the H flag. Let's see what that looks like. I don't think that's strictly necessary what I did here, because no, is it? That's not necessary. I could probably just do that. That's definitely okay. Anyway, so we actually see that we get the file name at the beginning now. We don't really want that. So what do we want to do is put a -h. It gets rid of the file name. I think it's hidden, no file name, something like that. I don't know what the H stands for, but that's pretty handy. Now, that's cool. We've got a list of the tags, but we've got these tags word in the way, and we've also got the same problem as the other script, where some of the tags have spaces, which is not ideal. So that's what this next command is for. Let's just go over here. Is that going to work? Does that just give me a pipe? I don't know. I'll try it. Let's just type that out real quick. So this is going to find anything after tags and space, and then we're going to lowercase it, and we're going to paste it in, and that's it. And yeah, that did not work how I want it, because it didn't actually give me a pipe. It just says pipe. I don't know why. There we go. Cool. So that's what we want. Now we have the hyphen problem again. So that's what this next one's for. So we just want to search for anything that is not, actually we don't need that colon in there. Anything that's not a comma followed by a space, and then paste it and put a dash. Yeah, that makes sense. There we go. So that'll only match these spaces that don't have commas, and it won't match new lines. There's no space there. It's a different character. That's pretty good. Now we've seen this stuff before. So what's this one? This one is just removing the comma. I think there might be an easier way to do this, but I'm just doing a substitution. And then I'm actually replacing it with a new line so that we put them all on one line. I mean on separate lines. Right, there we go. That's all our tags. But as you can see, there's a problem. We've got ESCI here, ESCI here, oranges here, and oranges here. That's no good. We don't want that. That's going to, well, that's going to create problems later, potentially. So what we can use is this unique command. Pretty cool. Why don't we have a look at the manual for that real quick. Here we go. Actually, why don't we use this one? A bit more colorful. Report or omit repeated lines. It's pretty straightforward. There's a whole bunch of options. We don't really need to go through it. It basically just does what it says on the tin. But in this case, it didn't. Because by default, it'll only remove duplicate lines if they're next to each other. So you have to sort it first. There we go. That's pretty cool. And then the last three commands. So the sed command is pretty straightforward. We grab the whole line, and then at the beginning of the line we put the directory name, and at the end of the line we put a .html. So that's this. That's the beginning of the line, end of the line. That's the captcha. Now we're just using this dir variable from there. Then slash, then the captcha, then yep. So that's all well and good. Now this T thing, this is pretty cool. I wonder if this makes sense. Yeah, read from standard input and write to standard output and files. So copy standard input to each file and also to standard output. That means instead of having to do this twice to make a list of the files and then copy them into another file and then, or maybe read that file afterwards and then create files from that file, that would work. That would work actually. Maybe that wouldn't be too bad, but this lets us do it in one command. So we tee it into this index.html, which we saw here in the Ranger. So there we go. So that's the output, right? And then we also pass it into xargs and use touch. So we actually make all the files. And that's pretty cool. So that's pretty much all I had to show for today. The next episode is going to be pretty interesting. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it. Copy the contents of every post with a tag into its corresponding document. That seems hard. I mean, it's probably not going to be too mind-bendingly difficult. This stuff, it doesn't take too long once you, I mean, if you just read the manual and do a bit of Google searching, most stuff is pretty straightforward. And that's kind of what I like about this whole thing. I know it's been kind of slow going. My website is still nowhere near being up. But I've been working on other things, so that's okay. And you know, it's just part of the joy of using Unix, which I really didn't get from using Windows. You know, I use Windows a lot, mainly because I play games, and until recently, that was a real issue. But now I can play pretty much anything on Linux because of Valve's hard work with Proton. So that's awesome. And I'm kind of ranting here, but anyway, look into these commands. They're all very small, they're composable, they feed into each other, and that's actually the second half of the Unix philosophy. I might just Google that right now. The Unix philosophy. quote. What is that quote? Yeah, write programs that do one thing and do it well, but there's a second part to the quote. Where is that? Write programs to work together. Write programs to handle text streams. This is really small. I'm not actually sure how to zoom in right now, so sorry about that. But let me just grab this, put it in here. There we go. So, write programs that work together. Write programs to handle text streams, because that is a universal interface. And that makes a lot of sense. Mostly we're dealing with text. Unless it's a binary, like compiled file, pretty much everything is text. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching and Happy New Year.